Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back in the garage working on our Articat build today. As you saw in the last video, we got the engine out of this thing and washed up. Today we're going to start tearing this thing apart. So we removed the magneto cover, got that all apart. Previous owner said he had replaced it. It looks pretty new. And we wanted to inspect the water pump because we were told that was replaced as well. Looks pretty good, the bearing feels good. Now we're working on removing the clutches so we can get it at the crank and the chain. Right now we don't have the proper size sockets to get these off, so we're gonna take a run out to the farm, see if we can get the right sockets and zip these off.
But if you look closely, somebody has also not had the right socket at some point in time, so it's been apart.
Someone's been in here, that's why we're going over everything and making sure it's 100% good to go. Okay, we got the clutches off. We got the clutch basket off. We're gonna take this off, that way we can get at the crank and hold the chain, and then we're going to take off the chain tensioner, those two screws right there, that way we can hold this chain and pull out the cam, pull off the gear, pull the head off, and then pull the cylinder jug off. And yes, I'm using a chrome socket on impact gun. So you guys know, this nut here is reverse thread. You don't want to find that out the hard way. Now you can see our chain on our crank here. This is our chain guide and our tensioner here. We're going to take our tensioner, release our tension, and then take the tensioner off. Alright, we took the chain tensioner off camera. It's these two screws here. You can see in here there's a slot so you can adjust the chain tension. When we put that back together, we're gonna have to look up the spec so we can set the proper chain tension. Now I already went ahead and marked the crank and the chain and the cam and the chain with paint marks, so that way it makes for easy assembly. Now we're gonna go ahead and try and pull this cam out, and then we can pull the cylinder head off. I think you might have to pull the gear off though. Somehow this thing. Alright, now that we finally managed to get the cam out, we're going to take off the cylinder head. These 2 nuts here, 2 nuts on each side. I believe 2 bolts there and 2 bolts there. And we'll get the cylinder head off. Probably would have been better if I pulled it. We're going to take the cylinder jug off now. The cylinder head bolts actually hold the jug down as well, and then there's just these 2 nuts, and then we'll pull the cylinder off and have a look at it. Replaced too.
Yep, so it's had a gasket.
So it looks like this base gasket has been replaced too. It's aftermarket. The piston skirt looks like it's got some scoring on it. Not really looking that great. And the cylinder wall also has some scoring on it. Nothing deep though. Like if I run my fingernail on it, I can't feel the scoring. So I think as far as the cylinder goes, we're just gonna use the ball hone and hone it. And as far as the piston goes, I'm not too sure what we're gonna do. It does have some deep scoring on it. Doesn't really feel that nice. Okay guys, we got the cylinder off this thing. We just showed you. It's got a little bit of scoring, but nothing deep. The piston skirt has quite a bit of scoring on it. It's pretty deep. You can feel with your fingernail. And we just discovered that piston bearing is, or sorry, the connecting rod bearing is pretty sloppy. So looks like we're gonna have to figure out how to split this thing and go from there. Okay guys, so we were filming getting the crank out of the engine. You guys saw a bit of that, but our camera battery ended up dying. We did end up getting the engine split and the crank out. As you can see right here, we got it in two halves. We wanted to get it apart so we could send the crank out. So we sent the crank out to get the connecting rod pressed out, and we're gonna get a new connecting rod put on and a new piston as well. As well as we ordered a new camshaft. We noticed that one of the lobes was damaged. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.